Fibonacci makes his mark. In poetry this time. Hi everyone, I'm Jacob, I'm the Cowhat Librarian, and I'm here today to talk to you about the 14 Fibs of Gregory K by the very, very talented Greg Pincus. Now, I stumbled onto this book because of its sequel, a book called The Homework Strike, which I also quite recommend, and I stumbled onto this one, as I said, and I quite enjoyed it. So, Gregory is a poet. He's a student who absolutely loves writing and conjuring up imagery with his words, and he can write all sorts of wonderful poetry. He has a best friend, and the two of them have dreams of attending author camp together that summer. Well, things fall apart pretty quickly. You see, Gregory is great at words. He is horrible at math, and his math grade is slipping further and further and further. Gregory's failing math grade is especially difficult because the rest of his family is very, very accomplished at math. His brother and his father even competed on the main stage at City Math, a big math competition where math geniuses present their findings to others. And when his grade is doing bad, Gregory's parents think that he'd be better placed in a math program for the summer to help his grades out, and he never even gets to mentioning author camp to them. To make things worse, his best friend in the world, her mom decides that they have to move. So in one fell swoop, he's losing his best friend and his chance to go to author camp, and things just are not going very well. Well, Gregory's math teacher helps turn things around though. Instead of buckling down and forcing Gregory to do rigorous practice, he wants Gregory to think about math in a different way. And he asks Gregory to keep a math journal where he writes about math. And Gregory starts writing about it in his own way and incorporating poetry in his math. And at one point he learns about Fibonacci and the Fibonacci sequence, the series of numbers that start with 0 and 1, and where every subsequent number is made of adding the previous two. And so Gregory uses this to create a new form of poetry he calls a fib, based on the number of syllables per line. Well, to further impress Mr. Davis, he insists that he is going to enter in the city math competition. And because of his father and his brother's prowess at that competition, Gregory is allowed to present on the center stage. And meanwhile, he hasn't told his friend any of this. He hasn't told her he won't be going to author camp, none of it. And everything blows up and comes to a head. It's great. I always liked math as a kid, but Greg Pincus's writing made me identify with Gregory and his struggles with it. I think we can all empathize with losing a friend or not being able to tell them the full truth because they'll be so disappointed about the prospect. And we can all identify with wanting our parents to be proud of us and wanting to succeed at things that are important to them. He was a very well-rounded character, and he's rounded off even more in the sequel. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you enjoy the 14 Fibs of Gregory K, certainly check out the sequel, The Homework Strike. If you enjoy this, I might also suggest checking out some of Gordon Corman's works, maybe Ungifted or Super Gifted, or even better, The Unteachables. I think would really appeal to the young reader in your life who enjoys the 14 Fibs of Gregory K. Now, with all that said, there are spoilers ahead because I do have to talk about the deal breakers. I enjoyed this book. I could see a teacher like Mr. Davis working with Gregory and trying to find another approach to helping him with math. I really could. And the math journal itself was a good idea. And getting him interested in a particular aspect of math by teaching him about Fibonacci was great too. But I have a hard time believing that this teacher would honestly accept these various things to improve Gregory's grade. Writing poetry in prose, even if math is tangentially related, isn't math. Presenting a city math entry that is primarily poetry about his math journey, albeit mixed with facts about Fibonacci and his life, isn't math. And I can't see how Gregory made up any real ground in his understanding of math in this book. And that's fine. No, not everyone has to be good at math. There's certainly room for everyone to enjoy their own interests and to prioritize different things in their lives, and that's all good and fine. But to suggest that somehow he made up his grades to that extent with stuff that wasn't really about math, I'm sorry. I call nonsense. I love the book. I enjoy it. I recommend it very, very highly, but I don't believe that particular part of it. And with that, that's about all I have to say about this one. As always, please like, please subscribe, please keep an eye out for what else I'm going to be talking about from the Cowhat Library. Thanks, everyone. Bye now.